Hello, and welcome to Cinema Therapy, the podcast for people who know nothing about life, but all about film and TV. I'm Karen.
And I'm Nicole. Oh my God, that's my favorite version of you doing the intro.
Yes. This was like the second time,
I
right?
love
Oh
no,
my
it was like the
gosh.
third time, but
Okay,
it was
fine.
really good.
Third time's a charm.
Oh my God, I wish we were recording that for every time. It was the best.
I have a lot of anxiety about doing the intro, for those of you who can't tell, because I feel like the last two times I tried, it was like complete failure. But I'm very happy that you're satisfied or that you are happy with that intro.
I'm very pleased.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very, very pleased.
Oh, thank you.
We have an exciting
2019.
episode for you guys. First of all, our intro was perfect. I'm so happy for everyone. And second of all, we have this guest today, Udoka. Hello.
Woo!
That was my favorite version of her doing the intro.
I'm glad you agree.
That was my favorite version of you doing that.
You
That
have a
was
great voice.
Thank
Doesn't
you.
he?
Wow.
Look
Thank
at
you.
him.
Well,
Yeah,
just-
such a natural. We're just going to be complimenting you the entire podcast.
All I have to just do is just like speak.
Yes.
And then it
Exactly.
happens.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here.
And you're our first male guest.
Yes.
That's
What?
amazing.
Male
Congrats.
energy.
I love it.
I
We
took-
need male
Testosterone.
energy.
Took your guys' male cherry.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving. Yeah, but I'm excited. We're just breaking barriers
Yes.
all day, right?
Yeah.
This is what we live for. So
Yeah, more black
happy to do
representation,
it.
more male representation. Yeah, you know, we've been waiting for more men's voices on the airwaves, and now we're bringing it to you
Absolutely.
on
here.
Cinema Therapy.
I hope I represent you guys well.
Nicole,
Thanks,
why do we
Udoka.
have Udoka on today?
Well, so being the brilliant co-host that I am, I came up with the idea of having Karen watch a show that she would otherwise not watch, because sometimes she gets very stubborn and she thinks that she knows exactly what's good for her. And I'm like, I know your tastes. Don't act like I don't know what shows you're going to enjoy. And there was one show in particular that she just refused to watch. I'm not going to go into it yet. I want to leave a little bit of a surprise. But there was a show that she would never watch. So I came up with this idea so I could make sure she watches the show that she would otherwise never watch. And then I wanted to have a guest that I could also make watch a show that they would otherwise never watch. And Udoka does not have a TV in his home. He has a computer that he will sometimes watch television shows on, but he's not a huge TV watcher. Tell us more about that, Udoka.
This is all factual information. None of it's in dispute. I don't have a TV, and I've actually never owned a TV for as long as I've lived in New York.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which is not to say there's never been a TV in my home, though. I had two roommates at one point, and one of them, when he moved in, he brought his TV.
Okay.
So we did have a TV for 1 year, but I didn't watch it. That didn't change things. And the reason is I think it can probably be tied to like some type of like minor anxiety that I think is on a level that a lot of people have about things in life, but they just don't really acknowledge or realize what the trigger is. Because when I got older, like law school, like age 25, 26-ish, you know, I was still watching TV and still playing Xbox every once in a while with the guys, and that was still very normal. But after that, I started to feel like when I would be watching TV, like there was something else outside of like that room that I actually should be doing with my time. And I kept thinking about that while I was trying to watch TV, and it made the TV experience like less enjoyable. And like I eventually realized like that was a trigger. So I don't like to I just don't, it doesn't mean that I won't watch a movie or watch a TV show. I just don't come home, and no part of my day is I'll go home and sit down and watch TV.
Yeah.
It happens more organically. Like I'll just want to see part of a show or something.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
because it's more intentional. It's not just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
waiting for something to come on or just scrolling through Netflix. Like, oh, maybe something won't inspire me, but I feel like I have to spend this time in front of the TV. It's okay. Like, I'm going to do all the other things I need to get done in my day. And then I might visit the TV if I have something specific that I would like to watch, but I'm not
Right.
going to just like wait for it to tell me what I need to be doing.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not waiting on TV. I'm not waiting for a
Ooh.
show. I'm not really. Yeah, I'm just I just let it come to me naturally. And then
Yeah.
when I'm ready, I'm ready.
Waiting
Yeah.
on TV.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I love that.
Yeah, I feel like most people don't have that experience. I do feel that
Yeah.
draw to like, okay, I'm coming home. It's time to watch TV.
Yeah, I have the TV on when I clean, or I need to like fall asleep to the TV.
Mhm.
I actually really love falling asleep in like silence and darkness, but I'm kind of scared of the dark right now. So I have
Because of the Us trailer.
yeah. Honestly, I just need to watch something scary, and it'll hinder me from falling asleep or having a peaceful rest for like months, if not years. And the This Is Us trailer did that. Not This Is Us trailer.
No,
Us
Us.
trailer did that for me.
Very different mediums.
So I rely on the TV to help me fall asleep, but I'm not sleeping as well because I'll wake up in the middle of the night because the TV's on. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I really respect that.
That's interesting. And it's what's wild to think about. This is my last thought on
Go ahead.
why I don't have a TV.
Yeah.
Is I actually think the reason I don't have a TV is actually unhealthy. I think it's
Really?
actually unhealthy. Yeah, which is the point I was trying to make. Which is why I was saying I think it's like a bit of anxiety. It represents a bit of anxiety we all have in some sense. I think it's unhealthy to always be thinking like, what else should I be doing while you're trying to relax? I think I don't think that's good. So I think it is normal to be able to have a TV and relax and have a point of your day where you're just like, your mind doesn't have to go off on all cylinders. I think
Yeah.
that's normal to want that, whether it comes in the form of a TV or a newspaper or whatever. I'm just saying like my time when I could do that other people typically tend to enjoy isn't enjoyable for me.
Okay. Yeah.
So-
yeah.
Oh.
I appreciate
Yeah.
Yeah,
that.
so-
I respect that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with having a TV and watching TV.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you say that because we are definitely a pro TV podcast.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly.
You know,
This would be the wrong place to like die on the like don't watch TV hill.
yeah,
Like,
if you came on and you're
Like,
like,
just
look, guys, you're just wasting your time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I appreciate that. You know, you sharpened your point. I get it now.
yeah.
Cool. So it'll be interesting to hear what you have to say about the show. So let's dive into the first one. Do you want to start with me? The show that you made me watch? So I just want to say that when I came into this with positive hopes. I was like, I want to make someone watch something that I think that they'll enjoy. I think Karen wanted to torture me. She's like, let's have her watch something that she will be tortured through. So, Twin Peaks.
So dramatic. Woo,
Twin Peaks. Who makes this show?
David Lynch
David
and Mark
Lynch.
Frost.
Yes.
We're like 3 minutes
Creators.
into the show and 2 names I've never heard of before.
Oh, that's very
Oh.
understandable.
This is a
It's
sign of
very,
how
no,
this
it's
is
very
gonna go.
understandable.
No, I like it though. 'Cause
We're
I can,
all
like,
learning.
Yeah, we're all right, and so like until like I really know who they are, I just like have this idea of who they are. It's gonna be interesting.
Well,
as this
I'm
goes
going
on.
to tell you my version of David Lynch.
Let's
I
do
think David Lynch is a weirdo, and I'm tired of the journey he took me through. So he likes to play with surrealism, which is cute sometimes, but I don't like it for a TV show where I have to like do this for a very long time, and then it's also a mystery. I think it would be a more palatable show for like a bigger audience if they solved the mystery in the first season. They don't solve the mystery until like the middle of the second season.
Yes.
And even then there's still stuff going on. It's a really weird show. It's very soapy. They even have like this soap opera playing kind of in the background of the show. What is it, like An Invitation to Love or something is like the secondary show. So there's all these like weird plot lines. Like there's a woman who has like one eye missing or something. She has like an eye patch and she's crazy and like is obsessed with drapery. And it's the second season. She decides now she's younger. She's back in high school. It's just,
Oh my god, I'm loving all of this. I'm loving your reaction.
I was so upset about everything that they put me through. I was like, this is so annoying.
a roller coaster of surrealism.
It was like,
Understood.
and it just like, it got deeper and deeper. Like the first episode, I was just kind of like, why is all this crying? So, okay, it starts with Laura Palmer dying. All right. And this special agent Cooper comes into town, and he's played by Kyle MacLachlan, who was Trey in Sex and the City. It's very strange to see him with no wrinkles.
Nicole, can I interrupt you and say something?
Yes, go ahead.
I feel like whenever anything starts with someone dying, like they cheated a little bit. I feel like they cheated a little bit. I feel like that's the easy, you know what I mean? Because it could be something like real, but it could also be like Rush Hour 2. And you could start with someone dying, and I feel like it's just, you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, okay, I'm going to respond to that.
Yeah.
Well,
she loaded up.
No.
It's coming.
Well, one, like Sunset Boulevard, one of the greatest movies ever, starts off with someone dying. And also, there are a lot of things that start out with someone dying. And I just want to say that I feel like Twin Peaks has influenced majority of these television shows and movies in that regard.
Oh.
But yeah, that's definitely a point to make.
Yeah.
Definitely a point to make.
She's
I love
like,
it.
but here's your little. He was like, I'll give you that.
No,
you're right though.
No.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right. It's a lot of stuff.
It's definitely commonly used, and I get it. Like when you're creating a television show, you want to have something that captures the audience's attention the first 15 minutes. It's going to be something that makes the characters go about whatever their journey is.
Yeah.
And this one, it's this murder. I just feel like that plot device is used in a way that I don't appreciate in the show, because like they don't solve the murder efficiently enough. And then they take me to places and people that I don't care as much about. Like, I just want to know what happens to Laura Palmer. And they're like, well, let me tell you about the woman with the log. And let me tell you about the little person that this guy is having dreams with. Like, they use a lot of, like, dreams and imagery. And
you don't care about the baker's hairdresser. Like,
I don't care about the little, like, characters. And I guess, like, in this show, they have more importance because it is, like, that soapy kind of feel where they all do have their own storylines. In Gilmore Girls, which I think is, like... Okay, so Amy Sherman-Palladino is definitely a Twin Peaks fan. I can definitely tell because she used a lot of the actors from the show in Gilmore Girls. And she also seems to, like to have characters in the background that add color. And there's, like, a lot of, you know, eccentricities about them, but they're not the main point, and you never are trying to, like, get to know them too much. Like, they'll have cute little storylines, but I'm not, you know, nothing really crazy is happening to them. Like, the stakes are never that high. For Twin Peaks, like, oh, you know, someone died, someone is, like, getting hit by their husband, someone's husband is coming back from jail. Like, there's just a lot of things, and I guess for my ADHD brain, like, I can't have that many storylines happening unless it's Love Actually, and it's going to be completed in an hour and 30 minutes. Like, I don't know. Karen was right in that this was not going to be a show I was going to enjoy. Yeah. Why did you put me through this?
Okay. Well, I loved Nicole's idea of making us watch something that we would never watch on our own volition. Yeah, it's a great idea. And I knew you would hate Twin Peaks, so I wanted you to watch it because it's something that I genuinely love. Like,
you love this show?
I love this show. But to me,
that's an added element that you guys are like on complete opposite ends of. I just thought you picked a show that you knew she wouldn't like. I didn't know it was your favorite show.
No, it's my favorite show, and that's why.
I had no idea.
That's even
interesting.
more reason why I chose it, because, you know, it's someone that I like, a very close friend of mine, and someone that I'm doing a podcast with, talking about like what shows and movies we love, and some, like, what influences our lives. I mean, Twin Peaks is something that has influenced my life. Okay, so other than it being one of the greatest shows ever, it's a very personal thing for me.
I'm going to pause you just real quick.
Yes.
It's funny because this has turned into like a pseudo persuasion thing now. It's like with me being like the prize. Like, you're going to either hate it with me or you're going to love it with me.
I mean, you probably
it's kind of
will
cool.
hate it too. I don't know.
No, sell me. Go ahead. Sell me. I feel like that was a pitch, and you know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to talk about it on a personal level.
Okay,
first.
on a personal level.
First and foremost, and then I'll go into the logistics. But Twin Peaks was introduced to me years ago from my ex-boyfriend, who came to New York as a filmmaker and who loved movies, and I turned to him to find out to kind of explore different kinds of movies and television shows, and I just respected his opinion so much. And Twin Peaks was something he introduced to me, and we connected on, and it also, my boyfriend after that watched, I was with him during Twin Peaks The Return, which aired 2017 on Showtime, which was 27 years later. And, well, first of all, it's just fascinating that something like Twin Peaks has like such a cult following 27 years later. And we connected on that. We even went to visit the actual town of Twin Peaks, which is close to Seattle.
Oh, I didn't know
Seattle,
that.
Portland. Yeah, it's a beautiful small town.
It's my home area.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's so beautiful over
no
there. I love it.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and there's like
I thought it was 50 Shades of Grey, and that was it. I didn't know there was another one.
And Twilight.
and Twilight.
I knew about Twilight.
Yeah.
That's in Forks, though. That's like,
Right.
yeah,
Okay, too far.
that's
All
over
right,
there.
I don't know.
There's like a
We don't know Pacific Northwest history. We don't know where Swim, Washington is.
Trees, okay.
Yeah.
Douglas fir.
Right.
well, I feel like there's such a respect for like spirituality in the show, and which is very relevant in the town that we visited in. And we went to the diner, we went to the waterfall, and you could tell like the town, as small as it was, had such pride in Twin Peaks and what it gave to their name. They said there's like a huge like Twin Peaks visiting center, and they're like, Twin Peaks fans are welcomed. And there's pictures of characters of the show all over the town. It's just something that I've connected with over the years with people who I feel are as weird as me. As weird, like, it sounds weird, but I feel like people who I can connect with or are comfortable with because they are just as weird as me have connected on Twin Peaks. And it's because there's like a fascination with the macabre, with the twisted, with the dark. And I love how David Lynch he just does whatever he wants. Like his other films like Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, I feel have such cultural impact on the film and television industry. And just because he really doesn't care about like taking care of the audience, and he doesn't care about following some kind of formula, and it's just fascinating to watch. Twin Peaks, I feel, has been a cultural influence on so many different televisions. Riverdale right now, which is like one of the biggest teenage television shows.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
It's
it's
an awful
definitely,
show.
it's very true, but
I can see the influence, yeah.
The first episode, someone dies, and they want to know who killed him. And it's like dark, and it's like teenage kids, and they're in a diner and a cafe. It's very, you could tell it's influenced by Twin Peaks. The Killing with Kevin Bacon, also influenced by Twin Peaks, because the first episode someone dies, they're trying to find out the whole season who killed her. Sopranos, Lost, all of like the creators and writers of these shows have given reverence to David Lynch and the show. I also think it was a huge thing. It was like one of the first hour-long shows on cable television that influenced like 90210, Melrose Place, like all of these teenage soap operas. In Clueless, there's a line, and Cher is like, "Oh, I feel like my life is turning into an episode of Twin Peaks," and I just love how much it has like influenced all of these forms of art that I love to this day. I think David Lynch is very intentional with his music. The theme song will make me cry to this day. I just think
hate
it's
the music.
absolutely
I hate
beautiful.
This is so funny.
Yeah, there's
It's
like
so bad.
and there's so much, and there's a lot of bands actually that I love, not love, but that I really like that have had references from Twin Peaks for their band names.
Name one.
Silent Drapers. That's the eye with the lady with the one eye.
With the drapes.
Yeah.
Okay, to make it sad. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very personal to me, and I love that there's something out there that is just so bizarre and has such a respect for like exploring the macabre and like not trying to follow any kind of formula. You know,
I like formulas.
I know you do.
I like it to feel a little like safe. Like I don't like it. No, honestly,
Yeah.
though, I want to be real. Like I don't like it when I don't have any idea where it's going to take me.
Right.
Interesting.
Especially for a TV show. I would like to have some kind of consistency. Like we can have different plot lines, but don't take me anywhere too crazy. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. He doesn't make me feel safe, and I don't like it. Like I'm just not his audience. But I do appreciate watching the season because I do feel like I have a more full idea of what is out there for TV and what has influenced the TV that I enjoy. And now I like, you know, with Marie Kondo, it's taught me what I don't like. So thank you,
Right.
thank you, Twin Peaks, for teaching me what I
love that
don't
you
like.
watched it though. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
I
feel like
did.
it's like two worlds colliding. You know.
I was supposed to only watch 3 episodes. She was trying to make this as simple as possible, and
Yeah.
I ended up watching the whole first season
You
because
were-
you know,
You wanted to find the formula. You
I
wanted to figure it
You're
out.
You're like,
I
no,
did.
I want to see what you're trying to do here.
I do. Like, I kind of, like, I just want to know what was happening.
Yeah.
Well, like, I didn't want to get, like, pieces of it and not have a more, you know, further back understanding of what
Yeah.
the whole show was trying to
It's not like Full
accomplish.
House. You can watch the first episode.
Exactly.
Of Full House. You're
It's
like,
not a
I see
sitcom.
what's happening here.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, you know, I don't know. Do you have any other, like, specific questions about the show?
I don't. I
Okay.
just I love that you took the time, and it makes me very happy.
Yeah.
I
mean,
appreciate
it was
you.
definitely an experience. I'm glad it's done. I'm glad it's done.
I have a question about the show.
Yeah.
So at first, I thought when you guys were describing it, it was like a modern within the last 10 years. But it sounds like there was a second season that was within the last 10, right? But it's
The
like,
third.
but this is like
Yeah.
as old as I am.
1990 it came out.
1989.
Okay,
1989.
Yeah,
89.
28 years.
Oh, 1989.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was on CBS.
That's that is like wild.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
wow.
And it's
Like,
crazy because they're doing some, like, you know, with the macabre, with the darkness, whatever.
Or 30
they
years,
try
I'm
to
sorry.
use some, like, visual effects, and
Yeah.
it does not go well for a 2019 viewer.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Like, there
That's-
was one where they have, like, someone else's face to show that, like, they're possessed by someone.
Exactly.
And it was just, no.
But you see, like at the same time, like I know exactly what you mean, and I think that's kind of praises to the director or whoever you were describing, because like without like that type of technology, like having the ambition to like go there
Yeah.
when it wasn't as common to do movies like that.
For
So
sure.
it's like-
Yeah.
that's
For
kind of
sure.
cool. There's something
It's definitely
there's something
innovative.
respectable about that. To just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he definitely, when
You
it
know.
came back 27 years later, it went to Showtime because no cable network would pick it up.
yeah.
Because they wouldn't work with David Lynch's like timeline or storyline or writing or whatever. Second season, Steven Spielberg watched the first season, was really into it, and wanted to direct the second season. But David Lynch was like, "Nah, you're not gonna like be
Not
true
gonna-
to my
yeah.
vision. You're gonna
'Cause
like
Steven
Spielberg
Spielberg would
this."
do what I would
yeah.
do.
Right. To at least a certain
Right.
extent, right?
Yes.
He would. Come on now.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would make it more
Yeah.
like appeasing for like a
Yeah.
bigger audience.
Especially if he's going to invest his name into it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
It's 100% going to happen.
It would
you know?
definitely
So-
be more easy to consume.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's move on to the next one. I've kept you in anticipation long enough. What is the show that Karen said that she would never watch that I wanted so badly to make her watch?
It's the complete opposite of Twin Peaks.
It's This Is Us.
Mismatched peaks. Mismatched valleys.
Might as
Mismatched,
well.
mismatched
Eternal
valleys.
peaks.
It
Yes.
is called This Is Us. Doug, have you watched This Is Us?
That's not the new Jordan Peele movie.
No,
That's
but
Us.
we did.
Okay.
Which is more like Twin Peaks, I think.
Yeah,
Might
it
be
looks
more
like it
Twin
would
Peaks.
be.
Hey, like it's a Twin Peak vibey film from. You guys can tell from the trailer.
Well, it looks. I mean, it's creepy and dark. Like that's
Facts,
That's
yes.
all we
Yes.
know
Yes,
at this
yes,
point.
yes, yes.
about-
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's creepy and dark. That's how.
But you'll see it because it's Jordan Peele.
I won't.
Oh, really?
I can't do horror movies.
But it's not. It doesn't. I don't think it's a horror movie, right? It looks
No,
more
it's
like
definitely
Very
a horror
scary.
movie.
Oh.
very
Trailer?
scary.
I thought to me it looked more like a Shutter Island type of like psychological thriller
I'm
type
sure
of.
it is. I'm sure.
That's the vibe I got.
I'm sure there are psychological.
Yeah.
They were doing the shit where they like when they pace the music and then people are jumping like little spiders. I don't like
You're like that means scary movie. You're like, that means you're like
Spiders
You would only put that in your trailer
That was so
if it was a
cute.
scary movie. That's the only time you put that in the
No,
little.
I know. Like they don't do that for like romantic comedies where they like pace with the music and
Yeah.
we're like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like where they make people like move in creepy
Yeah.
ways, like
Yeah.
little spiders. Like no, no, that's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
But if we watch it later, I would love to see what you think about the show. I would love like
Yeah.
as many Black people as
Yeah.
possible to
Yeah.
talk about us.
Has
and Jordan
anyone,
Peele.
before we get into your show, seen all of these shows that we have on our list? Has anyone seen all of them?
Me?
Oh, you okay?
Yes.
And
okay.
you.
Oh,
Now
okay,
I
okay.
have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. Because I haven't seen any. I haven't seen your guys' shows before.
Oh,
So, yeah, I don't know.
I want to see from the discussion if you'll be interested in this as well.
Oh yeah, this is a good way to figure it out.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a good way.
It's an interesting show. I'm sorry, I don't want to spoil the first episode for you because it's a cute little surprise. But I guess
Someone
we have
dies at the
to.
beginning.
No, no.
Oh.
Well,
death.
actually, there is a death
I mean, somewhere in the show.
in the
but-
first episode.
Well, you know that someone's dead, but
Well, I'm talking about a baby. Listen, okay, the
So
show
now I know
is,
a baby dies in the first
the
episode.
show
At
is
this
This
point,
Is
let's just talk
Us.
about it.
I was so turned off by
Yeah.
this show and the trailers.
because it's on NBC and it looked really cheesy.
What does that mean that it was on NBC? Like for us?
Okay, so as a millennial, I do have a little bit of a suspicion to network TV shows. I figure that they're going to be a little too sanitized, that they're not going to feel real because it's not language that we use, like, you know, without curse words or, you know, just kind of just feeling a little too clean or too... I like to strike that balance, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it to be, like, too crazy, dark, you know, I can't track the storyline, or also, like, too clean for everyone, you know, Grey's Anatomy season 13. Like, I just,
Right.
like...
Okay,
Right.
I see.
Yeah.
But, you know, I also had these trepidations when I saw the trailers because it was like, this is us, and it looks like it was like heartwarming, and they have these hugs, and it's like there's some black people, there's some white people, and it's like they're all having a good time, and I'm like, I don't know, like, are they? And I just like
Yeah.
wasn't sure about it. So when Karen told me like she was not interested in watching the show, I was like, I get that, but it's good. Like, I was trying to convince her.
I know. I hate shows that give you everything you want. Like everything that's like it's like packaged perfectly. Like you see the people get together that you want to see get together. You know, people have closure in these shows. Everything makes sense. Like no room for mystery or anything like that.
Like
And-
their car never just runs out of gas.
right. Like it's just like a show
That's
that
not part of the plot.
that is clearly here for the viewers, like for views. You know what I mean? And for ratings, I
Right.
guess. And I oftentimes feel like when that happens, like the art is compromised or the quality of the writing and acting is compromised. I also heard that it's a show that people cry every episode, like after watching it. And I'm like, well, that sounds like horrible. Like I love crying, but I hate something that's like trying to make me cry.
Right.
Like
She cries at like the theme song for Jurassic Park.
I do.
She's like-
That's a deep theme, especially when they play it with
is
just
so
the piano, with just when they single
beautiful.
key play it, not even the chords.
Exactly.
Ding, ding, ding. You know what I mean?
Can you sing
I'm
it?
glad you said it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
No,
about. Like when it's just
Nicole.
when it's just one piano key playing it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
Da-na-na.
yeah, you guys know. Yeah,
I need
See,
someone to remind me.
that's a solid theme song. Now that I think
really
about
is.
it,
It's very good.
That's a
I don't know who
solid
made it.
song.
But...
John Williams.
she's like, I can tell you.
He did a lot of great
Yeah.
theme songs.
Well, that's a good example.
It's one of the best ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, This Is Us. Also in the trailers, like this like corny music and the lighting looks like Gilmore Girls. I don't know.
It's a very bright, like,
Yeah.
looking show. And,
Yeah.
like, people generally look happy.
right.
Especially in, like, the commercials and the
Yeah.
trailers. And then they suck you in. They're like, actually, we're going to go into despair.
Yeah, let's put in one black man in here and like, but I know there's more than one black person now. But at first I was like, okay, they're trying to like, I don't know, they're just trying to please people too much. I just don't know. Yeah, I was really turned off. And then I heard about a death and how the death happened, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous.
Oh, so now you're
I'm not
pro.
going to tell you. I'm not going to tell
Oh.
you, but yeah, there's like a death and it's really stupid.
So let's go
I
into
didn't
your...
see that episode yet, but
Okay.
I just heard about it.
Well, let's go into the thoughts you had when you started watching it, because you had all the suspicion. We understand like what your frame of mind was when you turned on the TV. So where did you land when you first started watching it?
Okay, so you told me to watch the pilot episode first.
Yes.
So I give it a go, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be like really corny. And then it starts off talking about people who have the same birthdays have some kind of connection. And I'm like, oh, God, really? Are you kidding me? Like, what?
Even though you like astrology just as much as me.
I do. I know. You're right. I don't know why it bothered me so much. Because it's like you're forcing me. Whatever. And then, the lighting was such a turnoff. And then it starts off with opening on like Mandy Moore and Milo Ventimiglia. And I'm not going to talk poorly on Mandy Moore, but I'm not going to lie. When I saw that she was in it, I was like, that was a huge reason why I was turned off. Because I'm like,
You just have no time for her
yeah.
on television.
But she proved me wrong.
Oh.
Yeah,
like,
she's really good.
She proved me wrong. I am like Mandy Moore's biggest fan right now.
Does Mandy Moore have a reputation of not being a good actor?
She was really good in A Walk to Remember.
I was gonna say, I thought that was like a one of her like, a
know
famous.
what
I was
it
just
is.
thinking about that. Like, isn't that like a
No,
generally
you're right.
accepted as like a good movie?
I think it's
it?
just because
I think so.
I'd
Like
have to
like the
look-
general public would. I wonder what Rotten Tomatoes would have it as.
I was just gonna look that up.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
But like I feel like if you run into people on the street and if they know that movie, most people like aren't like that movie was horrible.
And I remember that the girls liked it just as much as the guys when I was in middle school.
Yeah,
Like, I think when we're looking back on it, like we're kind of like, if it's not films that we talk about on a regular basis as adults, then we're like, oh, well, that was just for a young person to
Right.
consume. Like,
Yeah.
it's not really like mature or has like enough depth for us to bring into like our adulthood.
Yeah.
But I think if we rewatched it, we would still like think it was good for the time. I don't know. Like I don't know how I would view it at this time. But I think she was a great actor in that movie.
You're right. I don't know what I was associating when I saw her.
It is like she was part of like the teeny bop thing. Jessica Simpson.
Maybe that's what
Britney
it was.
Spears,
But-
whole
Christina.
Christina,
Yeah.
like you're like,
Wonderful singer,
you
by
weren't
the
like
way.
number one, so
Absolutely.
like go away. Like that's I feel
Yeah.
like we're like if you didn't make it to the top of the rice, like you're like throw.
Yeah.
Like
Even though some of them were like really talented though.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, like-
absolutely.
Christina Aguilera is a fantastic singer.
oh my god, the tomato
She's-
meter has 27%.
Okay.
So it's like Mighty Ducks.
Wow.
It's like Mighty
No,
Ducks.
but
It's one of those
audience-
movies we loved back then, but just
I mean, like didn't do well with reviewers, and
exactly.
like you know, I usually agree with reviews, but like not so much when we're talking about romantic movies because there's so
Okay.
many
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
men who
No,
review
exactly.
actually that's
Exactly
very
that.
true. That
Like-
is no, absolutely.
And I feel like when we're talking about like action films, a lot of times like they end up in the 60s, 70s when they're just like whatever, like this could have been a TV movie.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Like, but like because it's majority.
because
guys
it's
were
Transformers
reviewing.
3, we can't get it anything lower than 68.
Exactly.
Although we're all just like, what was this like plastic mess? You know what I mean? Like that. Like
Yeah.
everyone just that's
Yeah.
what everyone thinks about it though, and it's just like okay, 68%.
100%.
It's like, dude, why?
And not for nothing, but Rotten Tomatoes scores are like constantly fluctuating. I'm like, do you even know
Because like
yourself?
We're
Like,
going really hard for a walk to remember right now. We're like,
yo, like
we're like, forget that rating.
No,
we're like,
you're
let's-
wrong.
we're like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, go ahead. We're just going to bat for this movie. Like, you know.
So Mandy Moore
yeah,
impressed you.
She proved me wrong. She was great. The cast is amazing. Sterling K. Brown deserves every
He's so
award
amazing. You know
possible.
Sterling K. Brown? Okay.
He blew me
Sorry,
away.
guys. What show is he in, or what
He's
mixtape
in
did
This
he
Is
make?
Us, but he's also.
The People versus OJ.
Wait, you see, I didn't even realize that. Who was
Wait,
he in that?
I
He
don't.
was the attorney.
Whoa!
Which one? Which one?
Oh!
Which one attorney?
So he was on the prosecutor's side, and he was like the partner.
The
for,
white
like,
guy.
The black guy, who was the partner for the girl with the curly hair, who's always in
Oh my
American
god, that
Horror
is
Story.
Yeah, I know- I
Sarah
remember.
Paulson's partner. Yes.
Maybe remember when that OJ documentary came out? There was two.
Yeah, so
I've
let's
only
see.
seen one of them, and I
So
don't
you
think I
just
saw
the
this one.
documentary. Oh, that's
Yeah.
the other thing I wanted you to
This
watch.
is
I've
not a
only seen a
documentary.
documentary with like real, like it's like the real people. There's
Okay.
no
No,
actors in it.
This is part
So
of the
But you remember they came out at
anthology.
the same time, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about the one I haven't seen.
yeah,
Yeah.
you need to see that.
It's a
though.
part
It's-
of an anthology.
Okay.
Okay.
Crime.
Well, sorry. Go ahead. You need to
Noted.
watch that later.
Okay.
It's so good.
Facts.
It's so good. Yeah,
No,
Sterling
that's-
K. Brown. not only does he emote like sorrow and pain, because yes, he has like one of the most compelling storylines in this like white family, but he also emotes joy and like anxiety in such a way that's so lovable, like to watch, like, which is why I loved the episode that the second episode that you recommended, the trip where he's on shrooms, and he's just so genuine and authentic, and I just love. He's my favorite part of the show.
He is an angel in the show. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh,
his family, it's so beautiful. I really want you to watch it because like. It's really like a breath of fresh air. It's like the Cosby Show has been like mirrored in our minds, and now like here's what we have in modern America. Because like in like his real life person, like Sterling K. Brown, he's married to his wife from like they went together to Howard University.
Right.
So it's like this like beautiful black couple, but like in the like fictional story in the TV show, he's like married to this beautiful woman, and they have these great kids, and but he was adopted, and he's like trying to find like learn more about his story and learn more about his father. So in the first episode, he tracks down his father. I can't remember the name of the actor. Ron Jones. Ron Cephas Jones, and he's an incredible actor, and he plays him like he's a drug user, but they don't like villainize him in the show. Like you feel like it's going to go down this track if he's just going to be like, okay, well, look, I'm all successful and this white family saved me and now I'm doing really great, and like I just want to show you who I am now. And then he is like, oh, that's great, I'm really glad you're doing great, I fucked up, like I was a bad father. And like you just see like this like truth and reconciliation. They're able to rebrand their relationship and go on this like journey together. It's just so beautiful, like seeing that relationship, and like also like just them being vulnerable and not like villainizing people who have drug problems. Like I just think it was like so
exactly. Yeah,
it was a beautiful, touching moment.
That's why I loved the Memphis episode specifically, when they him and his son go to Memphis to visit like his roots, his stomping ground. And like you see his background, his childhood, his family life. Like he is a man who comes from a very loving family. You know what I mean? And is like very talented and affluent in the arts, and a gifted musician. And it's beautiful to see that he is a product of love.
Right.
You know what I mean? And not like some. Again, like a victim, like you were saying, like that needed to be saved by this family. It was
exactly.
beautiful.
Yeah. It was a complex, layered story, but you're not just like making people seem like villains or evil people because they have done wrong in their lives. Like I really appreciated that they like took the time with all these like characters.
The dad who was dealing with the substance abuse came from like the loving family. Like
So he did. He had like a really lovely mother, but you see like there's an episode where they go down this road and you see like the problems he went through. It just seems like he ended up going to a new city and not having the support from his parents, from his mother anymore. And he meets a girl, and the girl's using drugs, and then like he starts using with her.
Yeah, I see.
And then like you can see like how he, like a good person, could end up like using substances that are highly addictive, and like end up in a place where they never would have expected.
Exactly.
And even though all these things happened, that he still like had this like loving heart, and like he just it was hard for him to get out of his situation. There was a lot of like bad decisions,
and he's a very intelligent man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't like that the like artists in this show are portrayed as like
vapid.
I don't like that at all, but that is a reality, so I accept that.
So yeah, I don't want to ruin the premise, but one of the brothers...
The baby dies at the start.
Okay, spoiler alert for This Is Us. People who haven't listened to This Is Us. These are for people who have watched This Is Us. Okay, so in the first episode, we realized that the people who are sharing the same birthday, they're actually triplets. Well, they were supposed to be triplets, so... Sorry. So, we have twins... And then one of the triplets dies. So, like, they were in the hospital, and then one of their siblings dies. So then baby was brought to the hospital because his father like left him at the station. And because they had lost one of their children and expected to come home with 3, they were like, okay, let's open our house up to this other baby that was at the hospital at the same time. We're going to take it in as a sign. So that's how they start the story. Yeah, so like one of the siblings is an actor, and he's like on this like big sitcom, and he's like really handsome, but he's kind of like the airhead, kind of like sweet, handsome guy, and he has issues too, but I don't know, like I get really frustrated with his character sometimes.
That actor was in one of my favorite soap operas.
Really?
Ever,
What's soap
Twin Peaks?
opera?
Passions.
Oh,
It's also on, and it was on
Passions.
NBC like in the early 2000s.
Yo, I used to love Passions.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was Crane. He was a crane. Fox Crane. Yeah.
What does that mean? He's a fox crane?
Like one of the rich.
That was the name of his character.
Oh, his family. That's his like family
Crane
name.
was the last name. They were
Okay.
like the evil family.
Oh.
But yeah, so it was a nice little surprise seeing him. What I do love about This Is Us is that it brings up so many different conversations that aren't usually brought up like ever on television, and it's real and it's genuine and it's authentic. It gives perspective and a reality to what a loving family could look like. It's not Seventh Heaven. It's not perfect. You know what I mean? But it's also not dramatized in a way where it's just absolutely ridiculous and it's just drama happening just to have drama.
Yeah, like it's very real life tensions. Like
Yeah.
I feel a lot of connection with the characters because it does like show like the little life struggles that make you feel like you don't matter anymore. Like you don't have power in like your plight. Like one of the storylines from the most recent season that I really appreciated was when what's the actor that plays Sterling K. Brown's wife? She loses her job. She like works for a nonprofit, and the nonprofit loses funding, and basically she loses her job. And she's like doing all these interviews, and is starting to feel like, oh, like, am I ever gonna find a place that's gonna appreciate my skills again? And like, yo, like so many people I know have like gone through that, and like I've gone through that, and you start to like belittle yourself and feel like it sucks. It fucking sucks. So I really like having that character, and it's like not super dramatized. Like the stakes aren't like crazy high. You know, eventually she's gonna figure it out, but it sucks in that moment to like feel that and feel like nobody understands what you're going through.
Yeah. I'm on season 2 now. So
Ah,
it's not a show.
Is that a good? Oh,
I
Or
just
like
like need her to
I know.
catch up.
oh, it's like I'm jealous. You haven't got to watch all the parts that
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah. As much as I'm surprised of how much I love it and enjoy it, it's definitely not something that I would binge watch.
Okay.
I can only take it in doses.
Because it is a very emotional show. Yes.
Also too perfect. Like
Ugh.
again, yeah.
They do tie it up very like tightly.
Very nicely, yeah.
Yeah.
What's a movie that you'd be like? It's a this for people who love this movie. They would love this show.
that's a
Like
good
insert movie
question.
title there. I'm curious.
Well, Crazy Stupid Love is the same writer as
Right,
This Is
right.
Us,
Okay,
So I would
okay.
say
Very, yeah,
it's
very
very similar.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I would also say About Time is like a sweet, like, you know, like it deals with the complexities of life, but
Right.
it's also like a more heartwarming show.
Right.
I like shit that's heartwarming, man. Like I don't want to feel worse than I did when I started watching the TV.
I think it's fair.
You need balance. Balance.
Yeah,
Balance is good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Udoka's show.
Yes.
What did we ask you to watch?
You guys asked me to watch Big Little Lies.
Yes. Yes.
And now I know you guys have both seen it too.
Yes, we did.
I didn't know. I guess I should have expected that. But yeah, I had never even heard of this show.
Really?
I had never even. This was not a thing I knew existed
What did you
until
think?
Nicole sent it to my iPhone here, and then I opened the message and I saw the title "Big Little Lies." That's when I found it existed.
Well, I'm glad that it was like a completely new experience for you. Like, when
Absolutely.
you saw the title, what did you think it was going to be about?
I don't think I knew it was going to be. I don't think I expected the like kind of like white like well-to-do suburban housewife drama angle. I don't think I expected that. but I didn't know what to expect either. I just didn't. I don't know because I knew nothing about it. You know, so I don't know. It was just a title to me.
I can tell you why I chose it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I conferred with Karen first. Like, I did it very quickly. Sometimes I just, like, shoot the gun. I'm like, I know what I'm going to do. So I thought very quickly about this, and I knew first that I wanted it to be a woman-centric show, or to have a character that, like, I think portrays the woman experience. And, like, what came to me first was this show, because there are so many dynamic women performances that happen.
Yeah.
But there also is this like legal mystery angle. So I felt like that would keep your interest as well.
Right.
And I'm always trying to like get my male friends, my husband, to watch things that have more women in it. Because I feel like there still is like this feel of like, okay, you know, I'm a man, I'm still going to majority make or like, you know, consume male-centric content.
Right.
So that's why I chose this one. I really love the show. I've like rewatched it like 3 times.
Okay. Let me tread carefully then.
Oh,
Here
we go.
Sorry, that wasn't supposed to be ominous.
Yo,
I love it.
That sounded way worse than it was.
Conflict.
The show. I actually don't hate the show. I really don't hate the show. Here's what I think about the show. I went into it with this idea that like this was just a show that I was going to watch for this podcast, and I was just going to just check it out, you know, and I'd have some ideas about it. That was fine.
Yeah.
And I think because I was like hyper aware that at some point I was going to talk about this show, I was trying to catch certain things in the show that I thought people might want to just like talk about, which made me realize like some of the art in the show is really good. Is really good. I think if you just were just watching this casually, I think you would just think it's kind of like Desperate Housewives-ish like vibe type of show, because it is the drama in it is so exaggerated. You know what I mean? But if you just chill for a second and actually look, you're like, wait, there's all types of like little signs and things here and there where there's like whoever wrote this show or whatever is like, we want you guys to pay attention. This like whole like Desperate Housewives thing is just the surface level.
Yeah.
For example, I like noticed if you remember in the very first episode, it starts off with Madeline falling on the street.
Yeah.
She's in this like bright red dress. It looks like it's like a evening dress with like heels, and it's like bright outside, and like everyone's in like shiny bright cars.
Yeah.
And then I forgot her name. The character who pulls up, who just moved there with her son. The son's name is Ziggy.
Is her name Jane?
I think so.
The character,
yeah. She's got dark hair, no makeup, inside of a dark interior of a car, and her son's wearing dark. And it almost is like every just thing shifts, like something's up with her.
Right.
They just like you can just see it. And I thought and I was like, that you could miss that if you weren't paying attention. The other thing that I noticed too was that the writers were like, you think this is like this whole Desperate Housewives vibe, but actually like this is like a Desperate Males type shit. Like this is just as much about the males in the show, and you guys might not catch it.
Yeah.
You don't understand like how problematic male behavior is. You might not catch it, but it's actually happening. For example, like Ziggy is accused of choking the little girl, right? We don't, it's still like where I'm at in the episode, or in the season, you don't know what happens. But my point is, they show then Madeline's current husband and the conflict that he has on the beach with Madeline's ex, and that type of conflict, and how quickly that got escalated with really nothing. There was no reason for that one to get escalated. You know what I mean? And you just keep seeing that everyone's source of everyone's drama comes from a man, even with Jane and how they're alluding to her ex Ziggy's dad. And even just the main drama between Madeline and the other woman comes from, this idea that the man, is not letting Madeline do the play she wants.
Yeah.
And then the other woman has the connections.
That's Laura Dern's character?
Yeah.
Laura Dern has the connections, and it's Reese Witherspoon's Avenue Q.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I started catching those things, and I was like, okay, there's like some content. There's some content here. And it's funny that you mentioned the legal part, because the legal part's not even hooking me in. I think that's like I don't even think it's a strong legal. The whole First Amendment thing, I get it, but like that's that's boring. That's not sexy at all. Like if you're gonna have like a legal thing to me in a movie, the legal and the murder obviously, but the legal thing has to be. It can't. We've all seen the murder thing, the murder mystery, and we've all seen the first. We want the right to do this. You know what I mean? They could have, if they wanted the legal part to stand up more, they could have made it. It could have been a different issue.
Yeah, I think it served more to speak about what's her character, Nicole Kidman's character's struggle, feeling like Celeste.
Yeah.
Her not feeling like she can, like, she has her own journey anymore. That's like, now it's just about her relationship with her husband and feeling like I feel trapped and like I can't like pursue my career anymore.
Right.
Like it just like showed like because up until that moment I didn't know her as anyone else but a victim and someone who's like really beautiful and had these kids. Like I didn't know what her individual pursuits were, and like I realized, oh my gosh, she's like a good lawyer. She's able to like, convince people that she knows what she's talking about. And you see that joy from her. Like it was the first time like you felt like she could like take a full breath. Like, I agree. Like the legal part of that is not that interesting. It just serves to show her character and her like
supports
making that realization.
Yeah. I love that you compared it to Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
Because they both start off with a murder. You know what I mean? Like Twin Peaks. But with this, we don't know who dies, which is that's what caught me. What caught me. I was so interested to see who died. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I remember, did you guys catch at the end of the first episode when, you know how like the show always switches back to what's happening currently with the people like in the investigation room?
Right.
And then it goes to like the story. You know how it like goes back and forth? Do you guys ever catch at the end of the first episode how they're like listing off like couldn't have been this person, couldn't have been this person or something? They're naming characters. They're either saying it couldn't have, I think they're saying, I don't know. They're like listing off people who like, because they're trying to solve the mystery. And I was like, wait, is that like a hint as to like, if you know that they didn't say their name, then that was the person who was killed? I think they were, because you're like, because every time they said someone's name, it meant clearly that person was alive. I can't remember what the context was. Like,
oh my gosh.
So like, that person lived, and I was like, damn, who did they not name? But I didn't go back and rewind it. It's at the end of the first episode.
I'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah. I was like, they're trying to give you a hint right there.
Okay.
To say, well, you know, this person
like,
lives.
These people are still alive
because they say
they're
their
suspects
names.
Or like,
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. They're naming suspects. That's exactly what it is.
So cool.
That's exactly what, so you're like, okay, so if they're a suspect, then they lived.
Right.
So you actually know by the end of the first episode, if you pay attention, who is alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Caught that.
Maybe they're not giving their audiences enough credit though to like
pick
up on that. It's like when I watch like a movie and like someone is like they're like, okay, no spoilers, but this and this or like Game of Thrones, right? And they're like, okay, no spoilers, but this person. I'm like, okay, well, you're not saying this, but at least I know that this person is still alive, so you're kind of ruining something for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're still giving me clues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else did you? What are your other thoughts
about
on
the show?
Yeah.
I think that they also have this sense of hypertized drama almost, right? That I think that they do in their attempt to catch a wider audience. I think that they do that because they know that that's what's easy and like comfortable for us to watch. It can't be too crazy, like you were saying, Nicole. Can't be too much, but it can't be too soft. And it's not that soft. There's still like, I think like brief nudity and you know what I mean? So it's not like baby powder soft. So I think that that's that middle ground that they were reaching for, which I think you might have mentioned. I can't remember. But I think like they didn't sacrifice all of the art, and like that's the biggest. That's like that's for sure my biggest
100%.
takeaway from it. I think that as far as how much I would watch it is, I might watch it to the end of the first season at least, just because like it would feel like a cliffhanger thing to me now, having like not seen at least how like part of it develops, to have an understanding of that. It's very different from any show I've watched before because remember how I was saying like I don't just sit down and watch shows. It also means I just don't sit down and do like research about shows. So there could be great shows out there that I would love that I just don't even know that I would love them. I haven't seen them. But people who know me, know my personality, can often make recommendations. Like, I think based on like your other choices for XYZ in life, you would like this show. And I generally do like those shows. And those are shows like what you would think I would like, Narcos. You know what I'm saying? Like shows like that, shows you would probably think I would like. And so nobody would recommend this to me.
Right.
Nobody, I know none of my friends would be like, you should watch this show. And I think it is something that I'm going to watch to be like, yo, maybe there's a whole other brand of shows out there that I actually just do like.
Yeah, I
Right,
really
of
want to.
course.
Like,
I'm
what if
so
I
curious
just don't?
to
What if I do
see.
like these other shows?
Yeah, because I think
Right.
this
You
would
know.
open you up to a whole different branch. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so Narcos is a show that you like. What's another show that you like?
I like anything that's kind of like dark. If there's like a psychological thriller aspect of it, like I'm like hooked. But I don't like when there's too much paranormal activity because I don't like. Not because I'm scared. I just don't. I'm not in. I'm just if there's too many ghosts. I don't know. I'm just. It's just not for me. So when it's like weird and kind of twisty and dark, but from like a psychological perspective, like I'm down with that. And I think sometimes you can cross the line if you do it the right way, like Stranger Things.
Okay. Yeah.
Cute.
I was like, I fuck with that show.
Yeah. I
Even
love
though there was
Stranger
like some
Things.
like
Yeah.
paranormal, like too sci-fi-ish element to it.
Yeah.
I like 80s era things,
Right.
and I
Me
like
too.
how they did
Right.
it, and I just like the feel of the show.
Yeah.
I like that. So you can get there, but those are generally the type of shows I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe this show will bring you into like suburban life.
Yeah.
Where you
Yeah.
kind of turned off when you were like, okay, this is looking very suburban. Because when David first saw the first episode, he was like, this just looks like a type.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
like, white people with their white problems.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't know who has died
I
yet?
don't know actually. I still
Wow!
yeah.
Okay,
I don't.
wanna
I don't.
say anything.
I don't know. I don't know who's died. But every time they like name, since I know someone died, every time like they introduce a character or say something about one of them, I think like could they be the one who did it? Can I tell you guys who I think did it?
Yes.
Okay.
And you don't have to tell me if
Or
I'm right or
who
wrong.
did it, or like, and
Who
who,
did it
was
and
killed.
Who died?
I don't think I know. I don't think I have an understanding of who died, but I think something tells me who did it.
Okay.
They're a killer. Okay.
Yeah, I think. Or wait.
I don't want to like
I-
give up.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
like,
wait.
my-
Let's
Wait,
try to, like,
wait.
Be stoic as possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
Okay, actually,
I can't
I
fix
think-
my face.
I'm
now
not making eye contact.
I don't know if I think this person died. It's the same person, but I don't know if I think they
Okay,
died
just
or
tell
they
me
did
the-
killing.
tell me the
I think
person.
I think it's Jane's Ziggy's father.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting.
Trying my best to like not make eye contact.
Yeah, you don't wanna,
Who was Ziggy's father?
We don't know yet.
we don't know yet.
Well,
Where
he
I am-
doesn't know
where
yet,
Yeah,
I'm-
'cause he
I'm
hasn't
like
been
looking
there.
at you. As much as possible.
where I'm in the show.
I'm very
Okay.
excited for you
Yeah.
to finish that show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
so question for you.
Yes.
Do you think Ziggy's father, have we like been introduced to him yet? Or do you think he's not a character that has been introduced to you in where
He's-
you are in?
He's been introduced to us as the former rapist of Ziggy's mom.
Right.
He's
Do you think we've seen the face of the person?
Oh, have I seen? Oh, interesting.
Because it could be a character that we've already been introduced to, but we don't know that that's the person.
Right.
It's possible. I'm
It
not
is
saying
possible,
it is the case.
but that's in my head as I watch it. That's not what happened.
Okay.
Cool.
And like how I'm interpreting what's happening is
I
it's someone
love this.
who hasn't been introduced.
I'm so
love
happy
this.
for you. Ugh.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we have to check in with you again and see
Absolutely.
like how you feel after you've finished.
Absolutely.
Karen, you had a question about the domestic violence scenes in
Yeah,
the show.
I didn't know like where you were.
Right.
Like, but I just wanted to know like a male's perspective.
Oh,
on
yes.
On seeing that
domestic
portrayed.
abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I thought that the portrayal of the ongoing incidents between Celeste
Mhm.
and
What's
her
his name?
husband Perry. Is
Oh,
it
Perry,
Oh, he
yeah.
knows more than
Alexander
me at this point.
Skarsgård. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Perry.
Eric Northing.
Yeah.
Norton.
I thought
blood.
that was I thought that was it expose. It needed to show men the view of you from the women you're abusing, but in a way that shows you when you're at your like vulnerable point, so you can understand it relates to you. This is what I mean. This is what I mean by that, because I said a lot. There's a scene where he's Skyping Celeste, and he's in like he's like in a hotel room, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that weird night vision type of view on whatever. It's like dark, and he's like in his underwear, and he wants to masturbate. Okay, and so I thought that was great for them to use that, because it's like, men, look. This is what you look like. This is what you look like. This is what you look like.
Yeah.
And Celeste is clearly
Wow.
uncomfortable,
Right.
even though it's her husband.
Yeah.
And it's like, even in this marriage where it's supposed to be anything goes, look at what you look like.
Yeah.
Wow, I
I
love
love that.
Yeah.
I
Because
love
you couldn't-
that.
You couldn't just do it. You
So
couldn't just
true.
show men them
Hitting
just
women
in the
is the only
Ferrari
way.
part, or
Yeah.
just hitting women. You can't, because we're like, that's not us anyways. We don't hit our
Right.
women. We don't drive for us. That's
Exactly.
not us. What do you? That's those kind of guys out there in
Yeah.
Monterey, California. But when you show like the Skype in like a vulnerable state that men would never want people to see themselves in, you're like, that's me.
Wow, I love that.
That's
Yeah.
real. That's
Thank
real.
you.
Because
Yeah.
it does. No, for real. Like, there is so many situations where, like, you kind of cross that line, and you don't go so far that like somebody is like ready to like slap like order of protection on you, but there are
Right.
things that you might do in a relationship that might make your partner feel uncomfortable. You're like
Absolutely.
asking
Right.
them to do things, and you make them feel like an object of your desire rather than the person who has their own set of needs that might not want to
Yeah.
like succumb to whatever like desire you have at that moment. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I just want to just talk to you. Like,
Yeah.
why am I just like the person that's going to get you off right now?
Right.
It just makes me feel like, okay, you could have just like gone on a porn website. Like, why?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The show definitely shines like this like almost like, it's weird, it's glaring, but it's subtle at the same time, light on just like male privilege in just like modern day society, on a level where people think everyone is just happy and it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, where everyone thinks, you know what I mean, it's all good. Everyone expects the wife abusers to be in the poor community, like the people that don't have it together, or
Right.
the people who are struggling
Exactly.
financially to be in the poor. You know what I mean? But it like shows like how the male ego feeds into that, even like in the suburban suburban like lifestyle. There's problems with men all over the show.
Yes. Mhm.
It's just weird. It's just weird
All
how
of
like
them.
it's like you think of it as like a women's issue show. It's interesting.
Mhm.
The core of all the
Well,
problems are for men.
Well, I wanted
Yeah.
to think of it
Strange.
as like woman centric, as like the characters who are like driving the plot forward are all women.
Yeah.
But like, you are right, and like the male characters are not just ancillary. They're
Yeah.
definitely much of what causes their issues.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
if it was I don't want to spoil anything, but
Right.
I feel like if it was a land of all women, if they were just like there together and they didn't have these men, they would be leading
right.
like easier lives. Like, there wouldn't be as
That's
like
the
much
test.
struggle.
That's
But you
the
do
test.
see that
Yeah.
like there is a scene later. I don't want to spoil it, where they do have like all the women together, and it just seems like, oh, like, you don't seem to have as much strife when you're with these women, and you're not acknowledging like all the problems that men are like putting into
Yeah,
your lives. So
Absolutely.
I think that's a good point. Did you want to say something, Karen? You look like
No, and just that how I was introduced to the show, this guy that a friend of mine, he was like, you should watch Big Little Lies. It's like a show that all my female friends are into. It seems like a really cool chick show. And I'm like,
It's a
okay,
chick
maybe
show.
you need to watch Big Little
Right.
Lies. Like, yeah. So it's just
Yeah.
interesting.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I really appreciate your perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
It was very
refreshing.
thoughtful.
It's nice to hear a man say these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was I think it's just so interesting. I guess to kind of like wrap it up on that, like, it's like, it's so interesting that there are all these issues that men should be aware of in this show, and they should watch it. But it's so ironic that men just don't watch it because they think it's a woman's show.
Yeah.
And that's one of those
Right,
issues.
exactly.
It's like
Exactly
isn't that like That's wild.
I know, yeah,
It's like,
because the
that's
people who
just-
could benefit from it the most could
That's
be
wild.
men. Yeah,
That's wild. That's wild. It's like you literally have to put exploding tanks and shit. and, like, all that
Exactly.
in there.
Yeah.
To get
You
to-
need
yeah,
to
there
have,
has
like,
to, one tank has
mafia
to
in
explode.
there.
right.
One tank has to explode.
Right, it's so true.
Like, you know what I
Very
mean?
true.
That's wild. Which is why I was saying, like, that's why I'm gonna watch the first full season to see if it's like tells me like there's a whole genre out there that like I'm missing out on because I'm just one of those guys at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, I really like the other show that I wanted you to watch is People versus OJ because
Yeah.
there's a scene in that show that I think says so much about like the woman experience, like the professional woman experience. What's her name? Sarah Paulson. So she plays the attorney who the prosecuting attorney, and she has a moment where she has like curly hair and she cuts her hair and she's like feeling really good about it. She thinks she's gonna look really pretty and she's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna kill in the courtroom today. I'm ready. She goes in. Everybody's looking at her and you can tell like, oh, it's not a good haircut. Like
Yeah.
everybody is like, oh, ooh, ooh. And it I remember this being an issue, like it coming out and like the newspapers being like, she has a bad haircut, like,
Yeah,
and I was just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, like you work so hard, you were so prepared, but the way that you look is what's being focused on right now, and like you can't even like change your brain to like not focus on that. You're like, oh, I mean, it matters just as much as like me like being prepared for this trial, like you always feel like people are just very aware of your looks as a woman. And she like has this moment where she's like pulling back tears, like she's just like, oh, like they make me feel so powerless right now. And I feel like just men could really learn from that scene. Like,
absolutely. I'll 100% like watch that.
You gotta watch
like
that next.
yo,
So
and
good.
Nicole, I remember talking to you about you were just like, yo, I didn't know what to do with my hair in law school.
Yes,
It's like,
yeah.
yo, like I feel like women's hair is like there's
It's a
always like
big
low key
thing.
like little clues about that in shows too.
Yeah.
Big Little Lies. You know, Ziggy's mom, she always has her hair just in a ponytail. Even in scenes where everyone else will do up their hair in a different way, her hair is
Yeah.
always just like in a ponytail. But when they show her when whatever the incident was that happened, the rape or whatever, it's the only time her hair is different. It's like down, and she's
I think she, because of that rape, she doesn't want to be seen as like an object of desire. She continues to just like do very like, you know, subdued looks, just ponytail. Like I'm just like a mom on the go. I'm just getting shit done. No makeup. It is interesting to see like how this event has impacted her and how she sees herself, and like seeing that juxtaposed against other women who are like very aware of how they come off to others. But we got to wrap up. I loved this conversation so much, Udoka. Thank you so much for being our guest. We have to shout out your Instagram at Must Be Udoka. Do you have any projects you want to shout out?
Do I have a project? I don't really have. I guess just life is a project. Not doing
Yes.
anything specific. Right?
I love your thoughts.
Yeah. Just
Like
trying
the
to
way you
just
think.
I'm just trying to just make sure I'm doing what I need to do to just be happy. I ultimately will have like things I'm doing on the side for myself, but like they're just these ideas are always just developing, and I wouldn't want to like say it on the record and just like feel like people are holding me to it. I'm holding myself to it. It's just like I'm just playing it by ear and writing it.
Don't
So.
put yourself in the box. Udoka has a lot of various talents that you can follow.
Thank you.
He's going to be doing on his Instagram.
Thank
I'm
you.
always surprised. He could be creating a movie. He could be creating a dance. You never know. He could be rapping.
Thank
It's going to
you.
be something new. So
Thank
I love
you.
it.
Thank
Follow
you.
me at Nicole Sophia with a PH, and follow Karen where?
Just listen to Cinema Therapy.
At
show.
Cinema
You gonna find
Therapy.
me there.
Yeah.
All right. At Cinema Therapy
Got some
IG. Oh, we
creepers.
got a
I'm just
Facebook
kidding.
page.
Oh,
Oh.
let's make it happen.
All right, everyone. Yeah, we got a Facebook page. What is the name?
It's Cinema Therapy. That's the
Cinema
name. Or you can
Therapy.
search it at Cinema Therapy Show, just like our Instagram.
Okay, thank you to Jade Zabrick and City Worlds Radio, Skies
Thanks,
Crescent
guys.
Radio.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, producer.
You did a great thing.
Appreciate it. Bye, guys. See you next
Bye.
week.
Take care.
Bye.
It's a habit now. Money's burning.